Hoyle approaches the edge of the penalty. Back to Mendes.
Commentary at the weekend at 3 o'clock. Our base is going to be Molineux. Wolves against relegation threatened Brighton with Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle, and Ian will bring you news of the other goals as they go in the Premier League and in Scotland as well. But now let's focus on this one. It surely can't be as good as Wednesday night. It will be still very, very entertaining. Manchester City against Tottenham with Dion Dublin, and once again your correspondent John Murray.
And judging by the weather forecasts that I was hearing this morning, I think the chances are that wherever you're listening to us across the country, you will be bathed in sunshine. And indeed, Manchester is soaked in sunshine. As Sam Wallace was a little earlier, it's warmer here in Manchester today than it is in Barcelona. So we have the weather. I wonder whether they could do it again in terms of the entertainment levels that we saw on Wednesday night after that seismic match. This is the third meeting between these teams in a week and a half, so it is the final act of this April trilogy between Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. It is their fourth meeting of the season. They will surely not be able to produce anything to rival the events of Wednesday night, you'd think, Dion?
You'd think. These two teams, from what I've seen this season, they play a certain way. They love to attack, they love to score goals, create chances, so I'm expecting exactly the same. Both teams are slapping hands and having hugs, and what a day to play football. The pitch has been sprinkled with water. They both like to play passing football, so yes, there will be goals, there will be quality.
Same colours as the other night. Manchester City, sky blue shirts with the dark blue numbers, white shorts, dark blue socks. Sergio Aguero, who is the captain, in the absence of David Silva, who's on the bench. Vincent Kompany not involved. And I think he forgot there that he had to take part in the pre-match picture with the mascots and the officials. So he's there. Jan Vertonghen is there as the Tottenham captain in the absence of Hugo Lloris, as we have heard. Mark Chapman mentioned, Lloris has a little muscle injury, nothing too serious. So the teams are quite significantly changed, as I suspected they might have been. City only 3 changes, Tottenham 5 changes from Wednesday night. So City with Ederson in goal, a back 4 of Walker, Stones, Laporte and Zinchenko, so both Stones and Zinchenko returning to the team. De Bruyne, Gundogan and Phil Foden in midfield. The 18-year-old Foden making only his second start. And then the same front line of Bernardo Silva on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left and Captain Aguero. And Tottenham with Gazaniga in goal for the first time since January. Alderweireld, Sanchez and Vertonghen, the 3 central defenders. And it is indeed Foyt who's starting on the right-hand side, Davis on the left, with Dyer, Eriksson, Ali, Lucas Moura and Son Heung-min, who scored 3 goals against Manchester City in these now 3 matches so far, as Michael Oliver blows the whistle and this Premier League meeting between Manchester City and Tottenham gets underway in this warm Manchester sunshine. And Manchester City playing from left to right as we look, so attacking towards the end where the Tottenham supporters are. I'm sure many of them in the 3 tiers of the stand to our right in their section have returned after being here on Wednesday evening. Goodness knows what time they got back on Wednesday night. Mind you, I don't think they'll have worried too much about that after their team won through to their first final in this competition, whether it was the European Cup or the Champions League, since 1962. Here is Laporte carrying it out, gives it to Zinchenko, who missed the last 4 matches because of the hamstring injury against Cardiff here, the last time Manchester City played at home in the Premier League. And then De Bruyne has dropped deep into his own half and plays it all the way back to Ederson. not the intensity just yet, Dion Dublin.
No, not at all. I think, yeah, they'll be, feeling each other out just for the start of this game. Foyt's gone into a sort of right-back position. Davison's gone into a left-back position. And as I said to Chappers earlier, they'll go into a 5 out of possession. They'll go into a back 3 in possession. Yeah,
Davinson Sanchez playing as the right-sided central defender of the 3, with Alderweireld in the middle and Vertonghen to his left. Manchester City still in possession. Gundogan has Phil Foden's first touch, stabs the ball towards Kyle Walker. Walker carries it out towards the right-hand side. Then back towards Gundogan, and then Sergio Aguero, who scored his 30th goal of the season. It seemed at the time that might have been significant, but more significant was his straying slightly offside when he was caught out by VAR, and that final Sterling goal was disallowed. It's the 5th time, incidentally, that Sergio Aguero has reached the milestone of 30 in a season for Manchester City. And as Mark was telling us, he is on that list, that short list for the Player of the Year. Ball's out of play, and it's a first touch for Gazzaniga. Paulo Gazzaniga, the Argentine goalkeeper, 27 years old. His 11th appearance of the season for Tottenham Hotspur. But his goal kick has given possession back to Manchester City. Stones, that's an awful pass, straight at Lucas Moura. And then Eriksen to Son. Son now attacking the penalty area. Still goes past Stones and shoots left-footed, but straight at the goalkeeper. Ball didn't go out of play, but Stones blocked the follow-up cross. And in fact, the flag indicates that it did go out of play off the save from Ederson, so it's a corner to Tottenham.
Wow, Son one-on-one with Stones, just going down the left-hand side. I'm thinking, Stones, you've got him, no problem at all. Don't let him come on his right foot. Son did a step over and I nearly fell off my chair. It was that good, and he left Stones for dead. Left foot, great save by the keeper.
So an early scare survived by Manchester City. Liverpool be watching on intently, no doubt, as Eriksen takes the corner out of the penalty area to Moura. Moura drew the challenge, gave it back to Eriksen. Right-footed cross from the Dane, headed down into the penalty area, but an easy one for Ederson to come. And as he looked to clear it away, I thought he was being impeded there by Sanchez. However, he still managed to deliver it downfield. De Bruyne was then shoved over by Eriksen, and it's a free kick, which is taken quickly by Manchester City. Gundogan now to Phil Foden, the number 47, as ever, chest puffed out, always so aware of what's going on around him, Phil Foden. Gundogan's then to the edge of the area, Aguero with a flick. Foden, it wasn't meant for him, but he still was able to get there, but Tottenham have been able to squirrel the ball back, and Spurs will bring it away from the back as it's played up towards Eriksen. Then Foyt's pass, that's deflected, and Manchester City have got possession back inside their own half. City, who obviously went out despite winning the on Wednesday night in the Premier League, have won their last 9 matches in a row. Here's Walker to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva now. Bernardo Silva cuts infield onto his left foot, still going. A little chip towards the back post. Aguero knocks it back across, and a diving header into the net by Phil Foden, who scores his first Premier League goal. Diving in, just a couple of yards out. The 18-year-old makes it Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0. And we're off with the goals in the 5th minute in the Premier League on Saturday lunchtime.
Bernardo Silva, outstanding. He's made the pitch big. He's gone really wide on the right-hand side. He's drove across the back 5. He's waited. Aguero's made his move to the far post. He's just chipped it in there beautifully. Now Aguero could head for goal. He's thinking no, put it across the box into a dangerous area, and Foden's there for a little tap in with his head. Great play by City. Pretty naive from Spurs.
Great feeling again for the young man, Foden. That's his 7th goal of the season from his various appearances. This is his 10th start, 15 as a substitute, so 7 goals in 25 appearances when the majority have been as a substitute. And there, I think Phil Foden demonstrating what it is that he can do as a midfielder, i.e. getting into that position and scoring in the 6-yard box.
Absolutely, and I think Spurs have they've got into a 5 Spurs and left the midfield overloaded by City players, therefore allowing Foden to move forward.
Aguero in with a challenge on Lucas Moura. Referee Oliver allows that to go. Tottenham still in possession. Son, who could have given Tottenham the lead before Manchester City went in front. Now suddenly the atmosphere ramps up here inside the stadium. We had 4 goals in the first 11 minutes on Wednesday night. We've already had 1 in 6 here in the Premier League this Saturday lunchtime on 5 Live. De Bruyne gets the ball down and then receives it again inside his own half and plays it for Walker to set off over the halfway line, infield towards Aguero, and Sanchez was tight on Aguero, too tight, fouled him. Free kick to Manchester City just inside the Tottenham half. Last we heard from Tynecastle, Rangers were 1-0 up. Another goal ready for sight.
Another goal for Rangers, 7 minutes till half-time, and it was almost identical to the first one. Hearts naively ambushed in the centre circle. The ball shuttled to Candias. Candias stepped forward with Ryan Jack to his right, unmarked inside the box, played it to the midfielder. He tucked it away low to the goalkeeper's right. Hearts 0, Rangers 2, and they're on course, Rangers, to win a 4th successive game against Hearts this season.
Thank you, Roddy. 12 o'clock start out at Tynecastle. 12:30 start here on BBC Radio 5 Live in Manchester as Eric Dyer loses possession. Foden in with the challenge on Dyer. Now Bernardo Silva back to Foden inside the penalty area. Dele Alli was there just to stab it away from the toes of Phil Foden. Zinchenko now going for a 50-50 ball over on the far side with Foyt, who just got the touch first. Foyt has to check back onto his right foot and then is put under pressure. 2 City players, Zinchenko and Laporte doing that. Foyt then in arrives Zinchenko, and free kick Manchester City for Foyt on Zinchenko. Manchester City back in possession with the ball in the centre circle, and the Manchester City opening goal as Bernardo Silva is bundled over by Davis completely changed the atmosphere. That's got things going.
It's what we expected. Especially the goals really changed things. But Spurs have got a decision to make now. What do? Do they stick to their guns and pass and try and play out from the back? Or do they try and miss out on the squeeze, miss out on the press, which City have obviously worked on, and get it forward? And when they get it forward, they're going to have to get players in and around Son and Moore.
Dion Dublin with us on 5 Live. Watching De Bruyne take this free kick. Poor delivery. Davis actually headed it across his own box, straight to Foden, but Son put the challenge in. Now, the shaven-headed Brazilian Lucas Moura carrying the ball to the halfway line and fouled by Foden. I think that a bit of youthful exuberance there. I was wondering whether Michael Oliver might have thought of a yellow card for Foden.
He's done well there, Foden, as we would say. It's slow him down in the best possible way without hurting him, and he did that perfectly. Now Spurs have ended up back with Gazaniga then, where they could have had a chance earlier on. Good foul.
Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. This is our first Premier League commentary of the day. We have Wolves against Brighton from Molineux from 3 o'clock, plus all of the 3 o'clock action up and down the country. Obviously all of the Football League matches being played yesterday, or the majority of them. Long ball forward as Walker heads it down back into his own penalty area. And then there's another programme on Monday afternoon with things really hotting up and down the Championship, League 1, League 2, and Monday afternoon we have another one of those round the grounds afternoons for you on Monday. Here, John Stones, who started only one of the last 9 matches, John Stones, although he's had an injury in that time that kept him out of the England games. Here is Stones, already exposed once by Son. He would have enjoyed that. Here's Walker, although the form that Son at the moment is almost irresistible. Here is Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling goes away past Foyt as though he wasn't there, chips the ball across, and Davis was in the middle on the edge of the 6-yard box to head it back out towards the far side and clear the danger. But that was ominous. Talk about Son against Stones, Sterling against Foyt.
Yeah, same result, just out-and-out positivity from Sterling there. One-on-one, he knows he's got him for pace. What City have done well here, they've got Bernardo Silva wide right, they've got Sterling wide left, which really keeps the fullbacks back, keeping Spurs in a 5, and then leaving City overloaded in the middle of the park. Very clever tactic.
Yeah, Eric Dyer's got a lot of work to do in there. Just back after missing the last 5 matches. He also had to withdraw from the England squad with a hip problem. Here is Stones back. Stones then rolls it all the way back to goalkeeper Ederson. It looks like high summer today.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful. What a great day to play football.
The pitch is shimmering. I wonder what the temperature actually is out there in the arena. As Bernardo Silva plays the ball forward towards the corner of the box, and De Bruyne, it was cleared away by Vertonghen, who's claiming that he was kicked there by his Belgian international teammate, but the assistant and referee Oliver are saying no, only a throw-in to Tottenham.
I think he might have got there first actually with De Bruyne, and then got kicked by Dyer. I think. Yes, he had a. I think he had a case.
As the ball is cleared by Davis after the throw-in, which is sliced out of play on the halfway line. Not seen Maurizio Pochettino on the edge of the coaching area at all yet.
No, it's in the sun. It's quite hot out there. He'll bide his time. He'll be out there later.
Yeah, I'm not sure if is he wearing all black again, in which case you wouldn't want to be in this sunshine. As the ball is stabbed forward by Zinchenko, that's intercepted by Sanchez. Back out to Foyt on the far side. Dyer makes himself available, but it's in danger of losing the ball. In fact, he has lost it, Foden, and then Gundogan, but now Dyer is able to stand up and win it again against Foden, and that's a free kick. The Foden challenge on Dyer.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Foden's
putting himself at bait.
Letting people know that he's about, and yes, he might be young, but I don't mind the physical side of the game as well. I can see, as early as this, I can see a change, maybe with Sanchez and Foyt, I think, changing. I think Foyt might find his way into a 3, and Sanchez out there to keep an eye on Sterling. A bit quick, a bit stronger.
As City, De Bruyne played all the way back towards Ederson. You know what I was saying before about Guardiola perhaps saying to Phil Foden before this game, this is your chance here, this is your chance to show what you can do, cement a place in the team. Well, he's certainly showing what he can do and what he can offer.
Well, we know what he can do. We know how good he is on the ball. He's showing a different side of his game today.
Aguero to Sterling now, Sterling, and then Foden overhits the ball through the inside left position. And Aguero can't reach that, and it's through for a goal kick, but Foden standing applauding his teammate Sterling, and it's a goal kick to Tottenham. Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. Hearts 0, Rangers 2, the latest score in the early kick-off in the Premiership in Scotland. And as ever on a Saturday, you can listen to the Premier League commentaries with us on 5 Live. You can get involved on social media at 5 Live Sport. A sports report later when you can listen to the managers and the players who've made the headlines talking live to our reporters, and indeed to Mark Chapman, who'll be back in the studio by then. Talk about it on 6:06. Robbie Savage with Emma Saunders tonight. And here come Tottenham into the penalty area. Ericsson with a chance, and out comes Ederson, who closes the angle. 2 defenders went with Ericsson. He managed to wriggle away from them, but the side-footed shot from the angle was blocked by the Manchester City goalkeeper for a corner.
Yeah, I was just watching Ederson there. He waited just for the right time to come out and make the angle even harder for Ericsson. Great save.
2 big chances for Tottenham now, Son and Ericsson. Here's the corner for Tottenham to the near post, headed away by Walker, who got up. Ericsson with a touch back to Son on the right-hand side. Low back heel from Son. Then the ball was driven in by Davis, who took the corner. It's not by Manchester City. Dele Alli on the edge of the box, wearing that cast on his hand again. Dele Alli, Moura, then to Vertonghen on the left-hand side. Back to Moura. Moura trying to drive it into the area. It hit the backside of Gundogan and very nearly set Bernardo Silva away on the counter-attack. But Moura was able to turn, sprint, and keep the ball, and then Moura's pass is way beyond the run of Son and through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that the slow game doesn't suit Spurs from what I've seen. Like they just did then, they did it to get Son in. They've done it to get Ericsson in. Just that little bit quicker with the ball. 1 and 2 touch, move that defence of City. I don't know what Stones has done there.
Stones, awful pass, and I don't think Laporte knew what he was doing either. Laporte gave him a hard stare, didn't he, when he chipped it, probably 30 yards behind Zinchenko, who was able to keep the ball in remarkably. Laporte was sort of looking one way, looked over his shoulder, as if to say, what are you doing?
Is that for me, or?
Yeah. Ball played out from the back by Ederson. They've reached half-time in the Hearts-Rangers game with you, Roddy Forsyth.
Hearts 0, Rangers 2. Hearts embarrassed by identical ambushes in the centre circle. The first one put Jermaine Defoe clear for a 1-on-1. He tucked away easily, then Ryan Jack doing it shortly before half-time. Here at Castle, which is also warmer than Barcelona and LA, by the way.
LA?
Yeah, it's never like that, but you take what you can get.
Yes. Well, it's just like LA sitting next to Dion Dublin, international man of mystery, as Moura plays the ball infield to Eriksson, who hits it downfield. Son up against Laporte. Son gets there first, but Laporte is able to put in the challenge, sliding and blocking the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Excellent from Laporte, who I thought was beaten.
He was beaten. He was beaten. It was a last-ditch tackle from Laporte. Got it right, absolutely bang on. Son for pace and power, no problem at all. He's now one-on-one with him. Looking, he's got to dink this, he's got to dink it. And Laporte just gets back in. Fantastic tackle.
Goalkeeper Ederson coming out as well at the time. Just took advantage of that little moment.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Absolutely. He knew Son, movement, pace, outfought Laporte, but Laporte got back in. He lost him for about half a second, half a yard. But that's what you need from your defender. If you've been done with thought, make sure you get back. Be physical. Great tackle.
Well, this time on Wednesday night, it was 2-2. And indeed had been 2-2 for some time. Just the one goal, but this has been entertaining.
Yeah, it's good football now. You know, Spurs have settled it down now and not allowing City to have it all their own way. City got their goal, and yes, they might want to sit on that, but that's not City's way. I think they'll both try to keep scoring goals, but Spurs have got to be patient. No more goals from Spurs' point of view.
What they did do, Tottenham, was give Bernardo Silva far too much time for the goal. Again, not for the first time, although it's amazing the way that Bernardo Silva manages, even though he almost invariably cuts infield on his left foot. It don't seem to be able to cope with.
Listen, he's one of our own, Chris Waddle. We knew exactly what Chris Waddle was going to do back in the day. Wide right, left-footed, but you couldn't stop him. The Waddle could do what he wanted, when he wanted, because he was that good. Bernardo Silva's pretty much in that bracket as well.
And deservedly on that shortlist for Player of the Year, Bernardo Silva. And playing often in two positions, sometimes centrally, or as he is today, and indeed was on Wednesday here, on the right-hand side. And it is Bernardo Silva up against Ben Davies, beats him one way, back onto his left foot, chips to the back post. Sanchez was there to head it away for Tottenham, but only to Aguero on the edge of the box. Alarm bells ringing again for Tottenham. Aguero rolls the ball to the young Ukrainian on the left-hand side, Zinchenko. Sterling is there as well. Sterling in this great goal-scoring form that he's in at the moment. And then Zinchenko goes back towards the halfway line, and Manchester City can start again.
I mean, Davies on the left-hand side there. Bernardo Silva's got the ball at his feet, and Davies is showing him down the line. Go on, show him down the line, and he's still got on his left foot.
And we're seeing it again. It's like an action replay. Bernardo Silva against Ben Davies. First to the left, then to the right, then gives it to De Bruyne, whose cross hits Vertonghen amidships, but he's okay. Little hobble, and it's cleared towards the halfway line where Stones volleys it out of play next to his manager, Guardiola, for a throw into Tottenham with almost 20 minutes played. It is Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0, and the champions are leading through a headed goal from close range from Phil Foden.
Yeah, Spurs have to do a little bit better when they're defending, and they do get the ball back. They're going to have to keep a player up top, maybe Son or Moura. Keep him up top. You've got to have a focal point to hit.
Oh, De Bruyne as well to give it to Bernardo Silva. He's got three players around him. He's gone past two. Now the challenge inside the box from Vertonghen. Bernardo Silva is absolutely furious. He came out with the ball for Vertonghen, but Bernardo Silva, I have to say, I have a feeling he might have a case, feels that he was caught first by Vertonghen before he got to the ball, and it should have been a penalty, not given. Here's Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling, then back to Zinchenko, now back to Gundogan. Gundogan onto the right foot, De Bruyne, who was just brilliant the other night. De Bruyne into the area, comes off Tottenham head, but Gazaniga's able to take it. And now we'll see again, and we do. Bernardo Silva standing, throwing his arms up in the air once, and throwing his arms up in the air again. And seeing the replay,
it's a close one.
He had a case.
It's a close one. He did have a case, yes. He's wriggling. Yeah, you know what? I've seen them given. I have seen them given. Vertonghen got a little bit lazy, dangling his foot. He did catch Silva. He also took the ball as well.
I'd say as well to the referee. I think that's a really tricky one to call. Yeah, because he did get a touch on the ball. You know, we've seen it just there 2-3 times.
Yeah. It's a hard one to call if you're not in the right position as a referee.
I think the first touch is on the man.
Yeah.
So I think it probably was a penalty.
And he thought it was as well, Silva.
Yeah.
Slapping the floor as if to say to the referee, you missed one.
Yeah. And that, of course, in itself has its own effect as the ball is deflected out of play on the far side for a throw into Manchester City.
See, he's still talking about Bernardo Silva. The ball stopped as a throw in on the far sside of the pitch, and Bernardo Silva has come all the way over to this side, right for the dugouts, talking to the linesman, arms apart. Why didn't you give it?
You know, we talked briefly, didn't we, about Leroy Sané and these reports that, you know, he's might not necessarily be happy with the amount of starts that he's getting, but we've seen here exactly what you were saying to Mark before the game. When you've got Sterling on one side with 23 goals to his name this season, and Bernardo Silva here on this side, and you've got Mahrez on the substitutes bench as well, getting into this team is not easy. You have to be exceptional, and that wasn't exceptional from Ben Davies. He's given it straight to Bernardo Silva in the Tottenham left-back area, and he's weaving pretty patterns. Bernardo Silva again gives it back to Walker behind him. Kyle Walker then goes infield towards Laporte. Laporte now, Manchester City have assumed control here against Tottenham for the time being. Zinchenko is going to drive the ball right across the penalty area. I think he was thinking about a shot. In fact, it's arrived at the feet of Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva now lays it back to Foden on his left foot. Foden back onto his right. Foden shoots straight at Gazzaniga, who draws the ball into his mid-range.
Yeah, great play again. So patient from City. You know, not forcing anything at all. What I mean by that, not just crossing it for the sake of crossing it. Trying to keep it, Foden on the edge of the box, just chinking, looks comfortable today. He's got his eye and he's got his goal. And he always wants the ball, whether he's being marked or not. That's the bravery that Pep likes in him. Give me the ball, I want to be part of this.
Premier League striker Dion Dublin with us on 5 Live, played for some of the biggest clubs in the land, and we're watching 2 of the top 6 here. The champions Manchester City, who, remember, in case you've just lost track of it all, Manchester City coming into this match 2 points behind Liverpool, the leaders, having played 1 game less. And in Tottenham's position, well, I mean, 3 points span Tottenham in 3rd, Arsenal in 4th, Chelsea in 5th, Manchester United in 6th. So it's highly significant in terms of league position for both of them. Liverpool playing at Cardiff tomorrow. We'll have all of the matches covered. 5 Live Sport tomorrow afternoon. Should be a busy one. Tottenham playing the ball away from the back. Dyer to the right-hand side. Still no return yet for Harry Winks, who can't be too far away, you'd have thought, as City then take possession back on the halfway line. Stones to Walker. Walker looks to Gundogan. Fernandinho again on the substitutes bench for Manchester City. Laporte now to Zinchenko on the left-hand side. The fair-haired Zinchenko gives it to Raheem Sterling. 8 goals in his last 8 Manchester City appearances. Thought he'd won it, and we all thought he'd won it right at the end on Wednesday night. Walker tries to get the ball back from De Bruyne, but Davies comes across. However, the ball deflects right across the field to the far side, and out of play off the Tottenham left wing back as he is, and out for a throw-in to Manchester City, who've been parked in the Tottenham half for probably the best part of 10 minutes or more.
Yeah, they haven't. Again, you know, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Gundogan, and you've got Foden in that sort of little triangle there. You know, 1 goes forward, 2 stay back, and then 2 goes forward and 1 goes back, and just take turns. There's no rigid positions for either of them, and Spurs are not quite sure how to deal with that yet.
Ball up towards Aguero on the edge of the penalty area. Sanchez was very tight there. Aguero went to ground, but it's a good challenge by Sanchez. Son has given the ball away to Bernardo Silva in his own half. And now Bernardo Silva attacking the penalty area. A little ball through to Foden, stretching, couldn't make it, couldn't reach it. But he stands again as the ball runs behind for a goal kick, and applauds above his head for the invention from Bernardo Silva.
He's got a taste at the moment, Foden. He's at the tip of that triangle I was just saying there. You've got Gundogan and De Bruyne just sitting in front of the 2 centre-halves for City, and Foden's been allowed to go and play with Aguero and Silva and Sterling. Go and play, do what you do.
Tottenham put under pressure by the Manchester City press. Vertonghen chipped the ball back to his goalkeeper from the full-back position, and Gazzaniga just put it straight out for a corner.
Yeah, don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure, especially when you're not playing, you know, one of the best in the land.
Corner taken short by Manchester City. Now it's back to De Bruyne, who plays the ball in but got it all wrong. Easily headed away by Alderweireld. Comes back to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva Then to De Bruyne, who puts one of his orange-booted feet on the ball. Then back to Zinchenko, middle of the Tottenham half. Zinchenko to the left-hand side for Sterling. Sterling whips the ball in. Aguero with a header. Offside flag was up against the Argentine, even though he headed it wide.
Yeah, that was kind of roles reversal there. It was a great ball in from Sterling. In-swinger this time, and Aguero's pulled off to the far post on the other side this time, exactly like he did for the goal. He was offside, but he tried the same header, waiting for one of his teammates to nod it in, but went a little bit early. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, we heard that one already this week, and Aguero was correctly given offside. Ball bounces out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Manchester City, who lead Tottenham by 1-0. Half-time, it is Hearts 0, Rangers 2 in the other early start. Match of the day tonight, 10:25 or 7:45 in the morning on BBC One, which is slightly different time to usual on a Sunday morning. That's when we'll have all of the highlights of this match and the other 3 o'clock kickoffs, and indeed Newcastle-Southampton, which is the 5:30 today. Here is Aguero, with that blonde hair that he currently has, trying to give the ball to Bernardo Silva. Challenge came in. Bernardo Silva wins it back from Dele Alli, gives it to Aguero into the box on the right-hand side. Aguero drove it into the shins of Alderweireld, and the ball skewed away behind the near post for another corner to Manchester City.
Yeah, racing in Sterling, racing in there at the far post, Foden down the middle again. David Silva, Bernardo Silva there as well, making his way into the box. They want more. City want more.
Not sure. Will they take this one short? It's De Bruyne who's going to take it, although Bernardo Silva has come across and it is taken short again, with all of the big men for Tottenham in there. Bernardo Silva back to Gundogan. Gundogan swirls one into the back post. Laporte was looking to head it across, but the Tottenham man who was in there to get the header, it was effective, and it was Vertonghen, and Vertonghen was able to head it out for a throw-in on the far side for Manchester City. Zinchenko waits to take. A number of yellow-jacketed stewards suddenly appear from the corner. This is the end where the Tottenham fans are. There'll, I'm sure, be a buzz. They'll have been busy over the course of the last few days, booking their tickets and their flights, those who are going to Amsterdam for the second leg. Here's Walker, long ball forward, Sanchez diving header across the edge of his own penalty area, out to Aguero. Aguero back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva now towards the corner of the box. Bernardo Silva again, who's seen so much of the ball in these opening stages. Now back to Aguero. Aguero's cross to the near post, bounces up for Gazzaniga to grab.
Yeah, good hands that. Aguero's finding himself on the right wing. You know, doesn't mind supplying, doesn't mind working hard for the team. This time not effective with the cross.
Yeah, we were saying when Alan Shearer was with us on Wednesday night, this is the Aguero that Pep Guardiola has made. You know, much more than just the lethal finisher.
Yeah, you know, he'll always get his goals, but when as team players go as a centre forward, he is right up there, right up there.
And he's on that list as well. And here's Dele Alli on the left-hand side, back to Son. Son turns and gives the ball in field. Back to Son again, and then Dyer's ball. Oh dear, dear. He's overhit that Eric Dyer by a distance, and he's out of play next to the corner flag.
That was pretty impressive from Dele Alli there. He waited. Bernardo Silva was squeezing, tracking back, and he just rolled it through his legs. Got Megs on him. But it means nothing unless you do something with it. It might look pretty, you might get one over on your opposite number, but your teammate's got to keep the ball.
Kyle Walker with the throw. And Vertonghen puts a foot in, and the ball bounces into the penalty area, and it's headed back. And he had to get that right, John Stones, but he did, into the hands of Ederson.
Ederson was closer than he thought, and as he looked over his shoulder, he thought, I can't head this as hard as I want to.
Just seen the replay of Dele Alli's lovely nutmeg on Bernardo Silva. It's very cleverly done, wasn't it? As Bernardo Silva came in, he stretched, opened his legs up, and just a little Dele Alli flick.
It was clever. It was very clever.
He loves that.
He'll store that one. He's going to store that one, and Bernardo Silva's not going to forget it.
He's not going to forget it. And it could be a battle of the nutmegs, because Bernardo Silva is not incapable of doing something similar. Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. Here's the goal scorer, Foden, now to Gundogan, and it's helped on to Sterling, left side of the box. Sterling trying to cut back, the ball took a deflection off Foyt as he came in, and the ball rolled back harmlessly from a Tottenham point of view to goalkeeper Gazzaniga to pick it up again.
Yeah, Foyt knew exactly what he wanted to do. Sterling was desperate to get onto his right foot, to curl one in the top corner, as he's done many times this season, very much like Bernardo Silva wanted to go on his left foot, and Foyt just did enough, just dangled a leg out to quash that attack. Spurs have done okay. They've kept it at 1. When they get the ball back, they're a little bit more potent. They need more players to show for the ball, for the player on the ball.
Beautiful. Fantastic play. Dragging the ball back, turning, taking it away from Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne.
That's good play. That's really good play. And it's like I say, it's dangerous, but it's not. It's confident, and he got it right. Just do it on the odd occasion. The manager won't mind that. Do it too much, I think the manager might have something to say.
Yeah, he is doing it there, halfway inside his own half, so he's dicing with danger, but he did it brilliantly, and the ball is played forward for Dele Alli, who makes a run, but Ederson was always the favourite to get there first as he came out. Walker was going with Dele Alli as well, but it did end up in the gloves of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think going forward, Spurs, if they can get more players, as I've said, in around Son and Ali and Moura, we've got more of a chance of retaining the ball and creating more chances.
Yeah, Spurs haven't been able to do what they did so effectively on Wednesday night. Although in saying that, they did have those 2 early chances for Son and for Eriksen. Here is Aguero on the left-hand side. Aguero curls the ball across the penalty area. He was looking for Bernardo Silva, cut out by Davis. Then Gundogan had a little touch from him, ran forward, flicked it back to Walker. Now Bernardo Silva, left foot shot, drives it via a tiny deflection, wide and behind for another City corner from the right.
What I do like about Kyle Walker gets the ball, and I know he's on the same side as Bernardo Silva. When he gets the ball, Kyle Walker, he actually, the hardest side foot you can find, Kyle Walker finds it and he pings it right to Bernardo Silva's feet. He loves it.
Corner taken short again, then it finds its way to Gundogan, and now across to Zinchenko. Left-footed shot from him is blocked by Dyer on the edge of the box, and the ball bounces out for a throw-in to Manchester City on the far side. They're back underway at Tynecastle, and Roddy Forsyth.
Self-destruction is the order of the day for Hearts, because it's now Hearts 0, Rangers 3. A corner kick that Hearts disputed because they claimed that it had come from an offside decision not given, but they didn't mark at the back post. Katic at the back post as the corner dropped, and he volleyed it away. So Hearts 0, Rangers 3.
Manchester City still pressing here. Eriksen, I think, was caught. He was by a bit of a lunge for the ball from Zinchenko, and it's a free kick to Tottenham in front of their own penalty area. I think Dion Dublin, certainly what Manchester City needed after Wednesday, and that chaotic finish was an early goal in this game, and they got it, and since then they've exerted really quite some superiority over Tottenham.
They have, yeah, and they've done it with...
Spurs have given it away, Dion. Here's De Bruyne on the edge of the penalty area, left-footed shot, that bounced into the calves of Dyer and out for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, they've taken control of the game, but what I have seen is those last-ditch challenges from Spurs 5 and 6 times.
Great turn from Foden on the left, crosses headed away, only out to Bernardo Silva in the box, turns, shoots on the left foot, that's straight more or less to Gazzaniga, who just had to go down to his left, a little step to his left, and was able to hold it, didn't catch it, Bernardo Silva, as he wanted.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can allow players of Man City's quality to take shots and allowed to put crosses in, because they'll end up scoring. You've got to stop it at source. Stop the cross at source. Stop the shot.
You say the way that the match is at the moment, you'd almost say it was inevitable that Manchester City would score a second. Here's De Bruyne on his right foot that sends the shot sailing away high and beyond the goal into those Manchester City fans.
Yeah, possession
61.3%.
Yeah, speaks for itself, doesn't it? And it's showing as well. I think Spurs are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to play the great game, but they're just getting caught at the moment, and they're not comfortable in possession, or they're not being allowed to play in possession.
They're not. Gundogan to Aguero, 25 yards out. Zinchenko arrives back to a goal, looks into the penalty area, but plays it back out to the left-hand side. Zinchenko, little shimmy, and then across to the near post, which is fumbled by Gazzaniga. Just bounced in front of him, up into his chest, his arm was there, and he managed to deflect it wide of the near post for a corner.
Yeah, it wasn't the cross that Zinchenko was looking for, but it's one of those that's going towards the near post. Gazzaniga's thinking, right, just make sure that doesn't go past me, and he puts it out, kind of.
There's been an element of that. Fernandinho just gets a warm round of applause as he comes out to warm up. Corner for Manchester City, headed away by Lucas Moura at the near post after it was delivered in. But De Bruyne, 25 yards out, plays the ball to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva back to De Bruyne, who launches the ball out of play.
That was a terrible shot.
Because he's injured.
That was a terrible shot.
I thought someone must be hurt, and it was the man himself, De Bruyne.
We haven't seen anything at all. I don't know why he's gone down. And 3 or 4 players now, his teammates all around him.
He'd obviously tipped the wink, hadn't he, to
Fernandinho, yeah,
to Guardiola. That's why Fernandinho came out, and as the ball arrived at his feet there, Kevin De Bruyne was halfway inside his own half, and that was the sign of a frustrated footballer who's missed so much of this season through injury. He's returned to his very best form, and it was almost "no, not again" written over his body language and the way that he whacked the ball out of play.
It was, yeah. We've just seen the replay, and it might have been the shot that he took a good maybe 30 seconds, a minute ago. Really put everything into the shot, and it looks like he's just getting his left leg tested now. I'm not quite sure if it's his groin, his hamstring. There isn't anything specific being looked at here, but he just looks uncomfortable, doesn't he?
He's had 2 spells out with knee problems this season. It's taken him such a long time because of those disruptions to get absolutely right. But I thought on Wednesday night we saw the De Bruyne of last season. He looked absolutely tip-top, set up 3 of the goals, and now he's having to leave the field. And his disappointment etched across his face as Fernandinho comes on to replace him. Did you read his article on the Players' Tribune this week, which is well worth reading?
Okay.
You didn't know
what did he have to say?
It was all about his upbringing, what drove him on, which was rejection, actually, very interestingly, from the family that he stayed with when he was a young player at Genk in Belgium. So there's the whole story of that, but also about his frustration this season of the second knee injury that he had. But I must say, they do some great stuff on that.
It's a mindset, isn't it? It's a mindset of the individual. You keep getting a knock back when you're young, no matter who it's from. You're not good enough. Try again. Sorry, we're not taking any players on. It just goes to show that when you get into the position he's grabbed it with 2 hands, and he's come to City and he's been outstanding, standing ovation, rightly so, one of the best in the world.
Yeah, and so Fernandinho is on. Also about his rejection at Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
And how he was found surplus to requirements. But that's a great shame for him and for Manchester City that De Bruyne is off, and we'll just have to find out how he is after the game as Manchester City try to close in on this domestic treble now. City, who will play in the Manchester derby on Wednesday night. So it would look as though De Bruyne would be unlikely to be involved in that match.
Yeah, I don't care who you support in the Premier League, you should be saying, I hope it's not too bad, because he's just great to watch. He does things that other players can't do. So yeah, good luck, and let's hope it's not too bad.
Yeah, Wednesday night, by the way, is a 5 Live commentary match, United against City here in Manchester at Old Trafford, so join us for that. Here's Bernardo Silva, now to Walker on the right-hand side. City leading this match by 1-0. Bernardo Silva with a flick infield to Gundogan, back out to the right to Walker, takes a touch, crosses to the back post, but over the top of Sterling. And it bounces harmlessly out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham over on the far side with 6 minutes to go, a little bit less than that, to half-time, when during the half-time break we will obviously hear more from Roddy Forsyth at Tynecastle, where Rangers are winning 3-0 against Hearts. But we'll also be talking to Chris Jones, our rugby union correspondent, looking ahead to the first of the Champions Cup semi-finals this afternoon. The Saracens-Munster game, which is on 5 Live Sports Extra from 3 o'clock on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds. Here's Davis now for Tottenham as they make a rare attack forward. High ball to Moura. Did well actually to control it at chest height. Plays it back to Davis. Now Foyt on the right. Foyt's ball into the near post, too close to Ederson. With Moura arriving, Ederson was able to swiftly grab it.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion where Spurs have got players forward. City also got players back, and then the champs.
Oh, Fernandinho's pass beats the Tottenham back line. Sterling's onside on the left-hand side into the full-back position, but Sanchez was able to come across, get a touch on it, and deflect it out of play for a throw on the left.
Yeah, it's great how they, you know, from the final third to Tottenham's defensive third, there's an attack, one pass and there's an attack again. The pace of Sterling on the back of Sanchez. Wow.
We've not seen Maurizio Pochettino on the edge of the coaching area at all.
I can't even see him on the bench. I can't even see him on the bench. Can't see his head. Can't see that really smart suit that he wears.
Throwing taken. He's not still in the stands, is he? You know, for his
No, can't possibly.
No. I think that's the top of his head, man. Here is Gundogan turning in field, but I mean, it's been a feature. Maybe he's still emotionally wiped out after Wednesday night. He threw his jacket off. Guardiola threw his cardigan off. Not a day for cardigans today. The City are in the penalty area. Foden back towards Fernandinho. Fernandinho square to Walker. Walker on his right foot. Lifts it high, almost all the way up the lower tier into the City fans behind the goal.
Yes, Kyle Walker not his best strike. Sometimes you have to clear it, we'd say, in training, because it was a poor strike. But a chance, again, another chance for City to strike on goal. This time it was a poor shot, but there's only so many times you can allow that to happen. The City have been incredibly organised today, and Spurs really haven't had the ball to do any damage at all.
No,
to City.
They did have those two chances. Stones up towards Gundogan, but City have bossed it, really. Gundogan playing it back across to Laporte. Laporte now sets off towards the halfway line and then plays the ball down the left to Zinchenko. Then it comes back to Laporte. Sterling drops deep. Seen much more of City down the right-hand side. Sterling has been almost, by his standards, recently a peripheral figure as the ball's played over the top for the run of Zinchenko, but that will bounce through for a goal kick. So 2.5 minutes to go to half-time, and it is a goal kick for Tottenham. And this, again, we see Manchester City sending Sterling, Aguero, Bernardo Silva near the edge of the penalty area, and then Gazzaniga has to take it long, which he does. Lucas Moura, a little nudge from Fernandinho. The ball bounces through to Laporte, and now Foden, the goal scorer, left-footed ball, has put too much on that, and it bounces through for Gazzaniga again. He just delayed getting rid of it, which he does now, underarms it out. But Alderweireld plays it back to Gazzaniga. Tottenham looking as though they might dice with danger here. Ali receives it from Vertonghen, gives it back to Vertonghen, who under pressure from Bernardo Silva can only hit it out of play near the halfway line.
If you are going to try and bat from the back, you have to do it with pace, because the slower you do it, the more time you give the defending side time to get into position. They'll throw players forward. If you're going to dally about, they'll get players forward. You've got to pass to. You've got to play out from the back. Do it quickly. Give yourself a chance to get out.
Bernardo Silva, and then Walker's cross hits Davis, bounces Dele Alli inside the penalty area. Bernardo Silva went down right on the edge of the box. Bernardo Silva, who also had a decent case for a penalty. Oh, Son does brilliantly against Zinchenko, and Son now is off and running. 3 City players chasing, there's a deflection, back to Son with a shot which is blocked by Ederson, who came out and saved very well. I wondered whether the ball might have bounced off his arm there during the course of that, but no free kick given, and Ederson had to make the save, which he did.
There was no chance, there's nothing happening at all. Son received the ball in his own half and made something of nothing, just through sheer pace. Left Stones, left Laporte, left Fernandinho, and it took Sterling back and helped. Son, you know, he's waiting for those chances. You can't allow him to have chances.
On the current market, Son must be something like a £100 million player.
Without a doubt. Plus, I think he's
really?
been out, because he's always seems to deliver. Yeah, he seems to do it more when Harry Kane's not in the side, to be honest with you.
Ball played forward for Dele Alli to chase, which he does, up against John Stones, and Stones is able to deflect it into Dele Alli and behind. Incidentally, Spurs have won all 5 Premier League matches without Harry Kane this season.
Yeah, it's very strange to say, but a lot of players seem to, when Harry Kane's not there, they seem to go, right, lads, we have to pull together, we have to do a little bit more because Harry's not in the side, and they all work a bit harder, and they all play a bit better, and it shows, it really does. When Harry Kane's in the side, they're even stronger.
Yeah, got to play the first leg against Ajax without both Kane and Son, as Manchester City with Fernandinho to the edge of the box, but that's cleared away. By the way, all 4 of those matches in the Champions League semi-finals are here on 5 live from inside the various stadiums. Ball deflected out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City on the far side. And Zinchenko is going to take.
Good to watch these. Good to watch. They make the pitch so big, City. They make the opposing team have to run so much further, so much harder. They take so much care when they're passing the ball. I mean, the ball's on the left wing for City. Bernardo Silva is still out wide right, making Davis think about, do I go, do I not go, do I stay by the side of my skipper? Very clever.
1 minute of added time, and that's over. So the first half ends with Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. That early goal from Phil Foden, his first Premier League goal, created by a combination of Bernardo Silva and then Aguero's header across from the back post, and Foden diving in to head it in from just a couple of yards out. And Manchester City, despite those 3 chances that Spurs have had, City have been the better team.
Yeah, they haven't. You know, they had the 61% of the play, and Spurs have tried to get out. The thing about Spurs, the good thing in Spurs' favour, it's only 1 at the moment. It's only 1-0, and plus when they do go forward, they have created chances on most of the occasions when they've had a chance to get in City's final third. City are dominant, though.
Yeah, so important for both teams in terms of their ambitions for the remainder of this Premier League season. And at half-time here in the Manchester Sunshine, City lead Tottenham by 1-0. And Mark Chapman's here with us inside the ground.
But that's the point, isn't it, Dale? For all the domination that City have had possession-wise, Spurs have probably had the better chance. I mean, Gazaniga, the couple of saves he's had to make have been fairly routine, but Ederson's saves have virtually all been one-on-one.
Yeah, they have, and he saved the ball going into the back of the net because the chances have been well taken. But, you know, I think City, in order to be more comfortable, not look more comfortable, to be more comfortable, need another goal or 2. Because Spurs are weathering the storm, they're soaking up the pressure, and then when they do get their chance, they've created a couple of good chances.
I think, John, for that first 25 minutes, and Dion as well, everything felt quite comfortable for City, and they were knocking it around. And then maybe the odd nerve came in amongst the crowd, and then when Kevin De Bruyne went down injured, it was like the air going out of a balloon in this stadium, the groans.
Yeah. He's just been such an important player for them when he's been at his best, and he has returned to his best. And if they're talking about City needing to win every match that they've got left this season, then that is why that provoked that reaction.
And it's as if his absence then contributed to more nerves in that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, because they're a player down, so to speak. You know, nobody else can do what Kevin De Bruyne does, so that part of their attacking play is gone, and that's why the fans all stood up and clapped him. But while they were clapping him, they're thinking, oh no, we've lost Kevin again. We've lost him at one of the most important parts of the season when they have to win every game, and he's helping them win every game. He's not going to be there. Let's hope it's not too bad.
Dale Dublin and John Murray here at the Etihad then, where it is Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0 at half-time. Comfortable for Rangers at Newcastle this afternoon. Roddy Forsyth.
Yeah, we're almost at the midway point of the second half, and Rangers have eased down into a stroll. Even then, Hearts don't look as though they can damage them. They've been ambushed 3 times. First of all, after a quarter of an hour, Jermaine Defoe, the man who put Rangers ahead after Hearts have broken down in midfield. And it was the same story again shortly before half-time. Candeas robbing Bosnich in the centre circle, flicking the ball through to Ryan Jack. Jack's finish was clinical, 2-0 for Rangers at the interval. And then immediately after the break, a corner kick. It was played short by Davis. He to Candeas. Candeas got it to the back post. Nobody was bothering to match Katic, and he simply knocked it into the net from a yard out. And that's why Celtic's coronation tomorrow looks as though it will be postponed. It would take a miracle perhaps to get anything from this game, and that means that Celtic won't be winning it at Easter Road against Hibs by the looks of it.
Huge, thank you very much, Roddy. Huge weekend in Rugby Union Champions Cup semi-final weekend. Leinster against Toulouse is tomorrow. Saracens against Munster will be on Sports Extra from around 10 to 3. Full commentary there, plenty of updates here on 5 Live as well. And we'll head to the Rico where that game is going to take place after the latest BBC News.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This
5 Live.
5 Live News headlines. I'm Helen Place. 2 people are being held over the killing of the journalist Lyra McKee, who was shot in Londonderry on Thursday night. The 18 and 19-year-old men were arrested under the Terrorism Act. The Met Police has asked for around 200 extra officers from neighbouring forces to help deal with the climate change protests in central London. More than 700 people have been arrested since demonstrations started 6 days ago. 2 people have been arrested after a 6-year-old boy was injured in a shooting in Wolverhampton yesterday. It's thought he was inside a house which was fired at in the Eastfield area. Diane Abbott says she's sincerely sorry for drinking a cocktail on the London Underground. Photographs emerged showing the Shadow Home Secretary with a mojito. Alcohol's been banned from public transport in the capital for more than 10 years. And forecasters say we're set for record-breaking temperatures over the Easter Bank holiday weekend. Temperatures are expected to reach 26 Celsius tomorrow and 27 on Monday.
5 Live Sports. 5 Live presents ringside coverage from Madison Square Garden in New York as Amir Khan takes on the American Terence Crawford. Crawford ranks as one of the leading pound-for-pound fighters in the world, looking to defend his unbeaten record and his WBO welterweight title. For Khan, it's one of the toughest tests of his career and a chance to prove he still belongs at World Championship level.
Brilliant! Left hook to the body by Amir Khan!
Crawford versus Khan, live from New York, tomorrow morning at 4 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0 at half-time, second half on the way here on 5 Live Sports. First day of the World Snooker in Sheffield. Jamie Broughton.
We're watching the defending champion Mark Williams begin his title defence against Martin Gould. Gould took the opening frame this morning, but Williams then hit back in style. He won 5 in a row with a century and 2 50-plus breaks. The highlight, Williams is now back at the table. He leads 5-3. He's on a break of 66 with a chance to secure a 6-3 first session lead. They'll return this evening to play to a finish when 10 frames will be the target for victory. On the other table today, Luke Brissell has built a 5-4 lead against Gary Wilson.
And the tournament is, of course, BBC Television and the BBC Sport website. So it's Champions Cup semi-final weekend in Rugby Union. The defending champions Leinster against Toulouse tomorrow. This afternoon, Saracens against Munster is at the Rico. You'll be able to listen to it in full on 5 Live Sports Extra. Our correspondent Chris Jones is there. Just before we come on to the teams and the Vunipolas in particular, this is a fascinating semi-final, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 teams that have got rich pedigree in this competition. Saracens more recent. They've won it in 16 and 17. Munster are European royalty, but the fascinating thing about Munster is they've really struggled to get past this stage. They've lost their last 6 semi-finals, even though this is the record 14th last 4 appearance. Are they good enough to get across the line against the Sarries team, who, as you touched upon there, Chappers, have got some big guns back?
Yeah, so both Vunipolas start as they go for a 4th final appearance in 6 years.
Yeah, so Billy Vunipola starts after that social media controversy of the last week or so. He was booed when he came off the bench against Bristol in the Prem last weekend. The return of Mako Vunipola perhaps more of a surprise though, because he's recovered quickly from that ankle injury he picked up during the France game in the Six Nations. And Brad Barrett is back as well from his ankle injury he picked up against Glasgow 3 weeks ago. Vunipola, both of them, and Barrett just so key for Saracens. Maybe Barrett the most important of the lot with his defensive quality and his leadership. So Sarries are in good nick injury-wise, and yeah, it's that dynamic of them knowing how to win recently in semi-finals of the Champions Cup, where Munster have stuttered a bit.
Are they, well, how would you describe their emotions over the whole Billy Vunipola social media furore?
Really interesting one. I mean, the club came out with a strongly worded statement saying that, you know, they emphasise rugby's values of inclusivity, but when I was down at Sarries on Tuesday, the players really didn't want to get involved. You can kind of understand, they felt that whatever they said could be misconstrued, and it's such a sensitive, delicate topic that Mark McCall himself was reluctant to really get drawn on it. But it's just interesting whether Sarries have had their minds elsewhere. They're normally such a strong mental side, such a resilient side. They always seem in great place emotionally and mentally, but lots has been going on, hasn't it? Their financial dealings are being investigated by Premiership Rugby over the salary cap, and that Billy Vunipola storm may have meant at the start of the week focus has been elsewhere, as Mark McCall admitted this week.
bit of a distraction for sure, of course. But as far as we're concerned, the matter has been dealt with both by our own club and by the RFU, and we want to put all of our attention and all of our focus into an unbelievably big game this weekend. This group of players, this group of staff have been together for a long period of time, and we care about each other, and we want to look out for each other through the good times and through the bad times as well. And I've no doubt when it comes to Saturday, Billy will be giving us all for his teammates, and likewise his teammates will be pulling for him as well.
As far as Munster are concerned, then, Chris, you mentioned their recent European record, and if we're talking about who's included for Saracens, it's who's missing for the Irish.
And this is a worry from Munster's point of view, because I think the big question today is, have Munster been unlucky losing those 6 semi-finals in a row, or are they just not good enough to go that extra step? Do they rely so much on their heart and soul and experience and big match temperament? But when it comes to this stage of a European competition, you need that class and X factor as well. And two players who could provide that in Joey Carberry and Keith Earls both aren't playing today. So I think we're going to find out a fair bit about Munster this afternoon, Mark, against such an outstanding Saracens outfit, whether they've just been riding their luck a little bit, Munster, and they did that against Edinburgh in the quarterfinals, and they might be shown up at the real crunch stage of the competition. But if they go and beat Saracens here, it'll be just a phenomenal achievement that will show Munster can mix it with the very best in Europe. They're going to have the support, even though this is, quote, a home game for Saracens, and the crowd's going to be predominantly Munster. There are red shirts everywhere around the Ricoh.
And Leinster to lose tomorrow.
Cracker. Should be an absolute cracker. Toulouse have been the kind of darlings of European rugby this season. They play such good rugby. A real throwback to the Toulouse days of old and the French flair that everyone yearns to see and hasn't seen for decades now. But they're flying in the top 14. They've been flying in Europe this season as well, beating Racing in Paris. In the quarterfinal was an unbelievable achievement. But Leinster are just this supreme winning outfit. They're the defending champions, and it's tough to bet against them in the Aviva, but I think from a neutral's point of view, it could be some rich entertainment in the Irish capital tomorrow.
So the final you're going for is?
You know what, I always say this, always go for the home team.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, and to be honest, I actually had egg on my face last night because two away teams won, didn't they? Munster won at Edinburgh and Toulouse won in Paris. Saracens, I think, will win today. I think they might put Munster away. Again, I'm there to be shot at if that's wrong. And I think I've got to lose, maybe to nick it tomorrow in a really tight one. Just because it's you chappers and you'll never go at me if I say the two home teams. So I'm going for a Sarries-Toulouse final.
I would not do that, Chris. Thank you very much. Paul Grayson will be alongside Chris for commentary of that game on Sports Extra. That'll be from 10 to 3. We'll get Paul's thoughts here on 5 Live. Before our 3 o'clock games and at full time here at the Etihad, there's been another goal for Roddy Forsyth.
Yes, indeed, at Tynecastle, Heart Rangers 3 now. And Mulroney with a persistent raid down the Hearts left, and then he got a cross in for the substitute McLean, who was just free enough at the back post to get his header beyond McGregor. Hearts 1, Rangers 3. The Rangers goals coming from Defoe, Jack and Katic on each side of the interval on this sun-drenched day at Tynecastle, where the big jumper has come off for the first time this season. On a match day, that is.
Thank you very much, Roddy. Dion Dublin and John Murray alongside me here at the Etihad. The sprinklers are on this sun-drenched pitch. The Spurs subs have been out warming up for the majority of that half-time break. But Dion, as far as Spurs are concerned, they probably don't have to change anything for a while, as long as they still carry that threat to City on the break.
Yeah, the only place I can see Spurs changing is maybe in the middle of the park, maybe Wanyama to a bit of weight, maybe to break down the attacks of City. But you know what? It has been all Man City, but it's only, I'll say it again, it's only 1-0. They've got a chance. If they can create those chances and Spurs get on the break, keep Son in and trying to get Eriksen close to him, they are still in this game.
Bernardo Silva's a phenomenon, isn't he? I mean, he really is.
He's very, very good to watch. You're not quite sure who's going to go down the line onto his weaker right foot, but deliver quality. And if he comes in on his left foot, anything can happen because he's that good.
But virtually every time you're expecting him to come in onto his left foot, which is how he set the goal up. And yet, it appears that there's nothing that Ben Davies can do to stop him inside, because he's showing him the touch line.
He is. He's overcompensating as well. Come on, then, you can have your right foot. Go down on your right foot. And if he takes it, he'll probably get a crossing, but you're not quite sure what to do because you can't give him too much space because he'll hurt you. He comes on his left foot, he's either going to pick a pass pick a shot, play a 1-2. At the moment, he's in an incredible purple patch at the moment, Silva, and he's brilliant to watch.
But I suppose it's doubly hard if you are the left wing back and you are the left footer, because when he then does come inside onto his left foot, he's then on your weak foot.
Yeah, exactly. So you're defending with your right foot, which is you know, deal with it. I tell you what I'd do. I'd be saying to my left side centre half, give us a hand, would you?
Always the ideal teammate, Dion. Always the ideal
Always,
teammate.
just help me out. I'm getting hammered.
And I suppose if City do need to stretch it, then that is when we would see Leroy Sané. I suppose you could drop Bernardo Silva in and take Gundogan off, for example, if you wanted to.
Listen, so many options. You know, Fernandinho's come on now, and you know he just slots into that space, no problem at all. They've got so many players that can do so many jobs, as well as each other. You could change 4 players now and put Mahrez on, and you could put Sané. You would never know they're that good and so balanced as well. And the help that Aguero gets and Sterling gets, and the movement, and I'm watching Foden, and I'm thinking, wow, you must have been playing all season because you look so comfortable. And like John said as well, you know, the manager said to me, "It's your chance. What have you got for me? How good are you? Why should I choose you?" And he's showing full well today. He's nicked a goal, and he's showing bravery.
It's only a 1-goal lead though. Tottenham coming back out now for the second half. You can hear a few boos as they do. Let's get this second 45 minutes underway. Here's John.
Yeah, Maurizio Pochettino, I've just seen him. Full tracksuit today he is. Just taking his seat in the dugout where he sat for the whole of the first half, where Manchester City had more of the possession. Final players are now out on the pitch. Manchester City now, having had to make that change, De Bruyne's injury, Fernandinho coming on, so they are Ederson, Walker, Stones, Laporte and Zinchenko as Michael Oliver gets the second half underway. In midfield, Fernandinho with Gundogan and goalscorer Foden, and then Bernardo Silva and Sterling wide, and Captain Aguero through the middle. And Tottenham, as they started, with Gazzaniga in goal. Lloris a slight injury. Here's Moura running with the ball towards the edge of the Manchester City box, but the challengers came in, and Son came back from an offside position, so it's a free kick to Manchester City. So the Tottenham side, Gazzaniga, Lloris a little injury, not a massive problem was the word on that. Then the 3 central defenders, Sanchez, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, Foyt the right wing back, Davis on the left, Dyer with Eriksson and Ali, Lucas Moura and Son. And I suspect the way that the game's gone, obviously there'll be the disappointment over De Bruyne's injury as Dele Alli plays the ball into the penalty area, but headed away only to Moura. Foden was able to charge down the attempted square ball from Moura on the edge of the box, and it's cleared away downfield and out of play by Kyle Walker for a throw into Tottenham. Cheers from the visiting supporters from their 3 sections. I just feel, beyond Dublin, that Pep Guardiola will really be edgy about this, because there's just that feeling, sunny day atmosphere, mixed with the disappointment of Kevin De Bruyne's injury, and also mixed with the fact that Manchester City controlled so much of the first half, but there's only 1 goal in it. I just feel that there's a danger here for Manchester City.
Yeah, he wants. He's been out there all game. Pep Guardiola. He's been his technical area, pacing up and down, giving information to his players. He wants the second goal. He needs the second goal to be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, wants to win in this game before the Manchester derby on Wednesday night.
Absolutely, absolutely. Massive differences. You know, when Ederson has the ball and he's being closed down, he's got no option. He can pick a pass. Gazzaniga just can't do it at the same level.
Yeah, City have got to win to go back a point clear of Liverpool at the top. Here's Aguero playing the ball out to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva. It is 1-0 to City. Bernardo Silva into the box, up against Davis, back onto his left foot, back onto his right, crosses with his right. There's a collector's item, and it was blocked. In any case, cleared away. But back to Bernardo Silva, left-footed ball into the box to Foden. Foden now to Gundogan, who just took a heavy touch. It bounces out to the right-hand side to Walker. Walker drives it straight into the legs of Davis, and the ball ricochets straight back past him and out for a throw rather than the corner.
That's what we're talking about. Bernardo Silva, what's he going to do? I've no idea. Ben Davies has got no idea either, so...
Cross with his right foot.
Yes, I know. Must have a nosebleed now.
And City taking the throw and going all the way back towards the halfway line, where Stones plays it forward, and then it's flicked up in the air by Foden. and headed forward for Tottenham. But Manchester City should deal with this. It is Laporte.
Yeah, you can see that ball went over the top. Laporte gets there first. Ericsson goes to squeeze, and as he's squeezing, he wants to put Laporte under pressure. Nobody comes with him, so he thinks, well, I can't go because they'll just pass round me. That's the difference between City and Spurs in this game. When one goes for City, they all go. Ericsson went on his own, no point.
One or two members of the Tunnel Club just returning to the comfortable seats down to our right after their fine dining experience, no doubt. Here's Walker. Walker now down the right-hand side. Vertonghen comes across. Excellent for Walker. Back to Aguero. His shot blocked by Alderweireld. The ball bounces out into the penalty area. Foden is there with the shot, but as Dyer came in with a challenge, he screwed it wide with his left foot and wide by 5 yards for a goal kick.
Yeah, I'm expecting Aguero to hit the back of the net. Great work from Kyle Walker. Just burst past 3 players. None of the Spurs players could do anything about that. Pure power and pace, and Aguero gets blocked. With calls for handball there from Aguero there, and Silva might have a little bit of a case as well, hitting Vertonghen's hand, but cleared away in the end. And who was on the last one? The last shot was Foden, just getting in the box at the right time.
Yes, if you weren't listening in the first half, BBC Radio 5 Live, Premier League, Manchester City, the champions, winning well against Tottenham, and Phil Foden starting a Premier League match for only the second time. Started against Cardiff just a couple of weeks ago. Did well in that match, and here he is, having replaced David Silva. But De Bruyne, I mean, it did not look good. We'll get the full assessment, but with the injuries that he's had, well, we'll just have to see what the assessment is after the end of the game for Kevin De Bruyne's remaining weeks of this season. Tottenham have won a throw-in, level with the edge of the Manchester City box. Ben Davies is waiting to take this. Applause as Manchester City substitutes Gabriel Jesus come out to warm up just down to our left, but Tottenham with the throw. Dele Alli takes the ball on his right instep, drags it out and then plays the ball infield. Christian Eriksen turns it back towards the halfway line. Tottenham start again with Alderweireld. Alderweireld just waits on it and then rolls it across. That was the second half shout that Tottenham have, that Manchester City have had for a penalty. That shout for handball against Alderweireld in his own penalty area. Eriksen heads it out towards the left-hand side. Dele Alli. It's all rather rushed, this, from Tottenham, and then indeed Dyer is dispossessed by Bernardo Silva, rolls it forward towards Aguero, whose touch took him out wide, and then Vertonghen came in with a challenge, took the ball, but he's taken Aguero as well, and Aguero stayed down. Now this is a big concern. They've already lost De Bruyne. They certainly don't want to lose Aguero, who stayed down, feeling his left ankle.
It's actually a great feat again from Bernardo Silva, and as he puts Aguero in, Aguero's first touch is great, but I think it's Vertonghen that makes the challenge, and I think it's Aguero's left ankle. It just catches his left ankle. May have rocked it slightly, maybe have gone over on it. They can be painful, but if you can get up and move it and keep it moving, exactly what Aguero's done, keep it moving, don't let it get swollen, you'll be fine. I think Aguero's not one of these players that you see rolling about on the floor. Great tackle.
Yeah, very good
Great tackle.
And Aguero, which would be a massive relief to everyone here, the home supporters, gets to his feet, does exactly what you said, Dion. Get it moving again with those strong little legs of the Argentine. And here he is receiving the ball on his right foot. Brilliant control from him. Has a look to his left. Sees Sterling. Aguero still going to the edge of the area. Stabs it to the right to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva onto his left foot. The shot is blocked. Foden then surges into the area, chests it down. Suggestion that he was caught there by Foyt. As he came in, Foden went down. You can hear the crowd reaction. Foden himself looked at referee Oliver, who wanted nothing to do with that penalty.
Oh, he might have a chance. He might have a little shout there watching the replay. He takes the ball on his chest, Foden, and it's Foyt that sort of, he eases him out of it. Oh, interesting.
It was a nudge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was a nudge. He leaned into it. He leaned into it. That's what he did.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder.
I think the one in the first half on Bernardo Silva was more of a penalty than that one there.
Agreed.
But that's now...
Yes. They're totting up.
a half and 2 quarters.
I'll give you that.
Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. The Premier League will continue to bring you around about 140 matches a season over the next 3 seasons after the recent rights deal was done for national radio, so we're very much looking forward to doing that. As Tottenham go, there's a foul by Davis on Foden, and ironic cheers for a free kick for Manchester City, but the Tottenham players don't like this. They're going Lucas Moura and Dele Alli.
Ooh, just seeing the replay there, I'm not sure it was. I think Davis won the ball fair and square, but that's what Foden does. He wants to look up, and as he's receiving the ball, he's looking up, his eyes are looking forward. Didn't know Davis was behind him and just lost possession. It's a good tackle from Davis.
Applause here, Dion, for Leroy Sané, and that's an indicator of how the City fans feel about him. Bernardo Silva, lovely from him on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva still going, he's up against Dyer. Back onto his left foot, here's the cross. Diving header away by Sanchez. Helped back in by Foden, but cleared away by Alderweireld on the edge of the box. And then Fernandinho and Laporte, danger of getting mixed up together. It's played forward to Son. Son, who's not figured in the second half at all. Stones playing it back, Eriksson on the chase, but Ederson gets there ahead of Eriksson, and the Manchester City goalkeeper clears it downfield.
Yeah, that's the difference there. You know, Stones had his, he was looking at his keeper, but he didn't have a double check. Son was squeezing Stones, and Eriksson released himself from his midfield position to close down the keeper. Keeper kicks it out of play. They go together, you get something from it.
Dion Dublin with us, watching Sanchez. Little foul by Sterling. The reaction there from the City fans to Sané, they will be aware of these reports and stories that Sané might be thinking of moving to a club where he starts more regularly, but they've indicated there how popular he is here.
Yeah, that little bit of warmth as he was coming out for warming up, as if to say, listen, please don't go.
Will that make any difference?
We want you to stay.
City winning 1-0, and almost 10 minutes played in the second half. We'll get the 3 o'clock team news for you when it begins to come in, and we've got commentary on Wolves against Brighton. That's where our commentary is this afternoon, with Chris Waddle, former Tottenham man, and Ian Dennis. Here's Walker. Walker for Manchester City down the right-hand side. Another former Tottenham man, Kyle Walker. Back to Bernardo Silva, who's got some space here. That's dangerous. Into Foden, right side of the box. Foden weaves his way out towards the far side, gives it back. And then Gundogan to Fernandinho, who changes the direction of the attack to the left-hand side. Zinchenko. Zinchenko's return from injury today to Sterling, who was just impeded by Foyt. Goes down, free kick, City on the left.
On that occasion, I'm not sure that was a free kick. I think Sterling would have done it for pace without a doubt, but sometimes when even though you're not the quickest, you put your body in the right way. It's very difficult for these speed merchants to get by you. I think Foyt's kind of hard done by now.
I think it was his scrambling arms.
Yeah, well, I think it was running motion.
Yeah.
Good play though.
Counted against him, and it's a free kick. Normally De Bruyne would be playing them in from here, but he's off injured. He'll be in the treatment room. So Manchester City give it to Gundogan to play in. Raises his arms. Gundogan's delivery, the near post, a flick by Fernandinho, but it was blocked by Foyt behind him, and loops out of play over here, just down to our left. It's caught by one of the orange-jacketed stewards. Very thoughtfully, they've given them short-sleeved fluorescent orange shirts on this almost summer's day here in springtime in Manchester. Throwing for Zinchenko. Zinchenko to Gundogan. Awkward ball, but Zinchenko found Sterling. Little triangles now. Gundogan, Zinchenko, tackled by Foyt, and then Sanchez turns and plays it into Gundogan, and is hoping the ball's going to bounce over the dead ball line for a goal kick, which Sanchez has taken responsibility for and given himself, and then the officials agree it is a goal kick.
Dangerous game that can be when you're being squeezed by a forward and you're trying to play it off them to get a throw-in or a goal kick. Without any options at all there, Sanchez got away with that.
Yeah, you'd have taken some squeezing, Dion.
I don't mind a squeeze, I've got to say. I don't mind a squeeze.
Speaking of which, how's Mrs. Dublin's?
She's
a big Liverpool fan, isn't she?
Yes, and she's a big squeezer. Yes, don't worry about that, she likes a squeeze.
Excellent, good news. And you're in that purple jumper as well.
Exactly, yes. She's absolutely loving the title race, I've got to say.
Good. Is she confident?
No.
Liverpool at Cardiff tomorrow. We'll have that game covered on 5 Live for you tomorrow with all of the matches. And Tottenham with the ball with Moore on the left-hand side, back towards Dele Alli. Ali square towards Eriksson. Eriksson now to the right-hand side. Foyt is arriving. The young Argentine turns and gives it back in field towards Eriksson. Seen relatively little of the great talents of Eriksson and Son coming forward because Manchester City have had so much of the ball. But if you weren't listening in the first half, Spurs had 3 big chances in the first half, and Ederson was able to save all of them. Here's Alderweireld in the centre circle. Alderweireld's ball over the top. This is for Dele Alli, who takes the ball down on his body. Walker comes in. He blocks it behind. I think Dele Alli's saying that struck the arm of Walker as he was coming back, but it's only a corner that's given by Michael Oliver.
Yeah, big shout back from Dele Alli. Actually stopped in his tracks. It was a great run. Well, great pick out as well from Alderweireld. Oh, and it did hit Walker's left hand
as he came in.
Oh, he's got a good shout from Dele Alli.
Next season, VAR will be having a field day in this game. Corner then for Tottenham to the near post. Sanchez tries to flick it on. Fernandinho is behind him. Fernandinho's touch was the meaningful one, so it's another corner to Tottenham from the far side. It's been he's had some awkward calls, Michael Oliver, in this one. You know, the question is, of course, as you'll know by now, whether the arm is in a natural position there as Walker runs in. Here's the corner to the back post, which is headed up, and Dyer couldn't get over that and could only head it straight up in the air. And Ederson's going to get rid of this quickly from the goal kick. Sterling on the chase. Lucas Moura's after him. Sterling hasn't got a teammate within 30 yards, but Aguero's arriving and Sterling's found him. Aguero now cuts into the penalty area. 2 Tottenham players go with him, and between them, Davis and Foyt, they were able to take the ball away from Aguero. That was so effective there from Manchester City, from the goalkeeper's goal kick.
It is really clever from Pep Guardiola to get Ederson in. Forget his goalkeeping ability, to pass the ball like he does. It's great. It's a great asset to have as well. If Sterling's gone, Sterling knows he can play that ball.
Dean, what's your hunch there? Should that have been a penalty for the handball?
Yes,
yeah,
it should have been. Unintentional, but it is hand.
Kyle Walker now in with a challenge as the ball bounces away, and he was caught by Eric Dyer, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. This is over on the right-hand side, halfway inside the Tottenham half. So both have had cases for a penalty, and we're going to see the first Tottenham change now, and it is Victor Wanyama who's going to come onto the field to replace Eric Dyer, who's only just back. I think he only started training, Eric Dyer, so Tottenham said, at the end of the week. So he's been given his hour. He's had his hour, and Wanyama, of course, who's seen relatively little football this season, is on to replace him for the last half hour. Free kick then for Manchester City, 1-0 Champions League. Gundogan plays it in, it takes a deflection. Fernandinho is trying to reach it, and the ball deflected up and wide and over the angle of post and bar for a goal kick to Tottenham.
Yeah, Laporte, I think it was, just getting on the end of that cross. Gundogan put some great quality in, actually. It was an outswing at that time, and I think the player got on it, and no save needed from Gazzaniga, but don't allow them to get on those first balls.
Yeah, Laporte just behind Fernandinho, just evaded Fernandinho and more or less hit Laporte and bounced wide. 1-0 Manchester City lead, so it's still in the balance. Half an hour, less than half an hour to play. And as Manchester City know only too well after the events of Wednesday night, and indeed the events of the early part of this match, Tottenham are well capable of creating a goal-scoring chance and taking it. Fernandinho playing it to the left-hand side to Sterling. Sterling now up and running. Sanchez into the challenge. He's found Aguero though, Sterling. Aguero with a run across the box. Sanchez did well then not to dive in. And then Aguero is challenged, but the ball bounces off him and behind for a goal kick, and that's all it is. And Aguero gets up and thumps the ball down into the turf.
So clever from Aguero. I mean, Sterling does well. He drives into the box, and Aguero, he's trying to create a shot, a shooting position for himself. Sanchez has got to be really careful just to don't dive in on Aguero. He'll just go over. On this occasion, he wins the ball, but just be patient in those positions.
Sané is going to come on for the second change for Manchester City. Are you feeling this as I am? just becoming rather tense.
Yes, and you know, you can tell Pep Guardiola's, you know, he keeps striding back and forth in his technical area. He wants that second goal. He knows that Spurs are capable. You've just got to limit them when it comes to chances. And I think Sane's gonna try and keep their fullbacks at bay and not allow them to come forward.
Still Hearts 1, Rangers 3. It's just finished, ready for sight.
Yes, indeed. There'll be no title celebrations for Celtic on the other side of Edinburgh tomorrow because they had to have Rangers dropping points here at Tynecastle. That didn't happen. Jermaine Defoe and Ryan Jack getting simple goals before the interval. Nico Katic with another unchecked strike after the break, and then Steve McLean, Hearts sub, making it a little consolatory with a header to make it Hearts 1, Rangers 3.
And that match tomorrow, needless to say, covered by 5 Live, as well as all of the other football. And then Monday night we have commentary on Chelsea against Burnley, live from Stamford Bridge. Wednesday, 5 Live, the place to listen to the Manchester derby commentary. Here's Zinchenko for Manchester City. Sané will be coming on very shortly. Here's Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling takes on Foyt, beats him on the inside. The Sanchez is there as well. And Manchester City have to go infield towards Fernandinho. Now Walker to Aguero, but a deep lying position. Sané is now taking a swig of the water bottle and then hurls it down as he waits to come on. Ball with City on the right-hand side. Here's the cross. Aguero flings a heel at it, threw his body first, caught it with the back of his heel behind him, and it deflected across the face of goal, didn't threaten it, and it's behind, and we will see the change. And it's going to be Aguero who makes way. Now, is that related to the little knock that he took?
I think it will be. I think it will be. It'll just be what we call a little bit of cotton wool. Just keep him connected, looking after him. He's a proper shift today from Aguero. You know, very good team performance, created chances, had a couple of half chances himself. As he comes off, he's just passing the armband over to Fernandinho, and they're going to be a lot weaker now with Sané coming on. It's just go from strength to strength, City. Their bench is so strong.
Listen to this ovation for Aguero.
What a player. What a player.
And there'll be a big cheer for Sané as well.
It was great to watch. There was a 5-second spell there where Zinchenko had the ball and he wasn't quite sure whether to go forward or not, and Pep Guardiola's he's throwing his arms forward. Go forward, he said, go forward. Got all disappointed when he played sideways.
There was a little hobble, wasn't there, in the Aguero walk, but he has sat on the seats behind the manager, or the manager's chair. So I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think he's just letting the fans know and the media know that I've got a bit of a twinge.
Yeah. 1-0 to Manchester City, and of course that extraordinary effort that the players who were involved on Wednesday night put in. Surely, even with these fittest of the fit, must play a part. Here's Walker, the tireless Walker, to the right-hand side for Bernardo Silva. 1-0 Manchester City lead. Bernardo Silva back to Gundogan. Bright sunshine. It is absolutely glorious. Chip to the left-hand side. Zinchenko takes it down. Sterling now playing, as you'll probably have worked out, through the middle. And Sané on the left-hand side. Danny Rose is going to come on for Tottenham next, as Fernandinho goes back into his own half. Stones rolls a pass to Walker on the far side. Walker then infield towards Sterling. Foden's pass took a little deflection. Fernandinho. Sterling now running from deep, running out the Tottenham defence. He's into the D, looks for Foden to his right. Foden's dispossessed by Wanyama. Although Bernardo Silva might win it back from the Kenyan, putting pressure on Wanyama. Gives it to Davis, who clears. Chested forward by Walker. The ball bounces to Eriksson. You can almost hear the alarm from the home supporters. Eriksson then playing it diagonally to Son, but Laporte looked after Son superbly and just eases him off, wins the ball, and then passes it to Stones.
Yeah, great play that. Eriksson on the left wing there for Spurs. Great cross-field ball, and it's not about his pace, it's all about his positional play. Laporte there just had to make sure that ball didn't go over his head. to Son, because he would have been in a world of trouble. Did well to defend that one.
5 Live commentary coming on at Brighton's important match at Wolves from 3 o'clock. Bernardo Silva gets up, plays the ball out towards the left-hand side. Referee Oliver played advantage, might have given a foul there. Here's Zani on his right foot, shoots, but goalkeeper Gazzaniga knew it was going wide as he dropped to his knees to his right.
Yeah, Foyt not sure what to do there. He's not sure, do I show him down the wing, do I show him across the pitch? And Sane now has come on, he's fresh. And Foyt at the moment is not quite sure. I think he may be coming off. No, it's Dele Alli coming off for Danny Rose.
Right. So that's going to be quite a rejig.
That's an interesting one.
Danny Rose is going to play further forward, as he did actually for the remainder of the match on Wednesday night when Davis came on as a substitute.
I think there has to be a stage where Spurs go, right, if you want to win this game, you might have to go to a 4. You're going to have to go to a 4 and overload the midfield.
So is that a problem for Dele Alli, you wonder?
I don't think it is. I think it's, well, I hope not. I really hope not. They have to go to a 4 at some stage, Spurs.
Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0, and in their position, with only 3 points separating the teams from 3rd to 6th. Tottenham currently in 3rd place, but just a point ahead of Arsenal and Chelsea. Spurs need to get something if ever they can from this game. Here's Zani on the left-hand side. It's deflected out of play by Foyt for a throw into Manchester City halfway inside the Tottenham half. And we have 20 minutes to play. Very much in the balance. After all of the goals and all of the drama, just the 1 goal so far in this match, as was the case in the first 2 meetings between these sides this season. As Fernandinho challenges the ball and it runs out of play for a throw into Tottenham, half inside their own half. By the way, if you haven't heard, tonight, big sport, back the early hours of tomorrow morning, on 5 Live, live from New York, live from the famous Madison Square Garden. As I say, I reckon it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, as the ball is played forward towards Son on the edge of the area, tried to hook it across, it bounced into the chest of Stones. Son's suggesting that struck the arm of John Stones. I'm not so sure about that one. And Manchester City have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. Yeah, the Crawford-Khan fight is on 5 Live, around about 4 o'clock in the morning. Mike Costello with Paulie Malignaggi and Steve Burns, our team there. There'll be a podcast in the morning if you missed the fight. All the reaction will be on Weekend Breakfast from 6 until 9 in the morning, and with Gary Richardson as well in Sportsy as well, I'm sure. When Trevor Francis will be a guest between 9 and 10 in the morning. Trevor Francis, who was once Britain's most expensive player, the first £1 million player. Gundogan playing the ball through. Zani on the left-hand side. Sterling with a chance. Left foot saved by Gazzaniga. He didn't have to move much. The shot from 6-7 yards out, but Gazzaniga was able to stick out a leg and block it on the line.
Yeah, just managed to keep his feet in position. What keepers do tend to do is like a little jump before the striker shoots, and he jumped and he kept his feet in position, and it sort of hit his right leg as he was leaning to the left. I would expect Sterling to score. He's done it many times this season, but what a good save.
Yeah, it was a good save actually, with his right foot, right ankle. That's the biggest chance of the second half.
It is most definitely.
By a distance. So it is still only 1-0 to Manchester City.
Which does still leave the door open, half a jar for Spurs to get anything. I think if Spurs do get anything, it's going to come from Son or Moura. They're the ones that look to be the most dangerous in the green and blue of Spurs.
Here's Zinchenko playing it back to the sky blue of Manchester City. Ederson passing the ball to Stones, puts his foot on the ball, passes it to Foden. Foden immediately to Walker on the far side, but City still in their own defensive third. This is going to be a totally different experience, isn't it, to Wednesday night when it was full-on, full-blooded. You didn't know what was going to happen next. This, here in the Premier League, is nervy, twitchy. They don't want to make mistakes. They both need points. Davis was caught there, and the free kick is given. Foden just knocks the ball back towards Vertonghen. who will take this free kick in the centre circle. Just takes it square towards Sanchez. Alderweireld, he goes for the long ball. Moura gets his head to it, leaping for it, bounces into the penalty area. Moura does well. Ederson comes out, makes the block. Back to Moura. Moura's chip caught at the near post by Ederson.
That's a chance. That's a massive chance. Created all by himself. What a great first touch and great save as well again from Ederson.
And Foden there, terrific, was given the ball in front of his own penalty area and rode two challenges, the 18-year-old. Foden, here's Sterling now. Sterling, who had that big chance, but that'll go down as another chance for Tottenham. That's now 4 in the game that they've had. 4 big chances and 4 saves by Ederson, who's a contender for the man of the match.
Yeah,
Manchester City goalkeeper.
I can't see Spurs missing all these chances, continue to miss all the chances, or should I say, the keeper making saves and City making last-ditch tackles. I can't see Spurs not taking one of these.
Great example that if City go on to win the title this season, of how at some stage or other, all of the main players make a contribution, as Ederson has in this match.
I have noticed that Alderweireld, in the back 3, in the back 5, whatever you want to call it, he just drops a little bit deeper than his defensive teammates, which leaves the gap open for that little 2 or 3 yards other players from City can get into. He just drops a little bit early for me, leaving those spaces for City players to be onside.
Big 15 minutes coming up. We've almost reached, in fact we are in the 75th minute of this match. Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0 as Danny Rose was fouled by Sané. Free kick to Tottenham halfway inside their own half. Let's get the team news ahead of our 3 o'clock commentary from Ian Dennis, who's at Molineux.
Massive match for Brighton, and Chris Hughton has made 2 changes. Bong for Bernardo at left back. Izquierdo starts instead of Ukambash. And as for Wolves, they've also made 2 changes. Bennett is recalled to defence for Saiss, and Gibbs-White makes a start in midfield instead of Dendoncker.
Thanks, Ian. Commentary with Ian and Chris Waddle from 3 o'clock. We'll hear from Chris Waddle in the build-up to kick off. All of the other team news as well during that time, and also we'll play an interview with the Leicester manager, Brendan Rodgers. But Manchester City leading Tottenham by 1-0. Wanyama back to Alderweireld, and then Vertonghen. Danny Rose back to Vertonghen, now to the left-hand side. Rose receives it from Davis, plays it back across Wanyama with a stretch, back to Alderweireld, and he looks here for Sanchez on the right-hand side. Sanchez curls a pass downfield. Zinchenko won that with his head. Foden, that's a superb return pass down the left-hand side to Sané, who cuts inside Sanchez. He's into the area now. Sanchez gets the challenge in, though, took the ball, and then Foyt was able to recover and return and help out his defensive teammate. Moments like that, Dion.
Yeah, it's great defensive play from Sanchez. Concentration.
Eriksson finds Moura brilliantly, really. I'm sure he couldn't see where he was, yet he still managed to find him with a pass almost over his own left shoulder. Moura, though, was beaten on the edge of the area by Stones, and now Ederson just clears it long and high. You don't see that too often from the City goalkeeper. We lost sight of it above the roof of the middle tier above our heads.
That's decision making, knowing when to clear it, knowing when to play.
Ball deflected out for a throw to Tottenham on the far side. Pep Guardiola walks out, as does Maurizio Pochettino. And Guardiola, his body language is betraying, I think, how everyone feels here, the City supporters.
So we haven't seen Pochettino out there once, have we?
Yeah, kid just came out first time. Here's Moura, edge of the area, heads it through and down, and that's an easy one for Ederson.
He must have blinked.
Yeah, as I say, he's got his tracksuit on. There were garments of clothing flying all over the place in the technical area on Wednesday night. Pochettino threw his jacket off, Guardiola his cardigan, and he's going to make a change. Tottenham are going to bring on, I think, Llorente. Yep, he's peeling off his bib down there. So the man who provided what turned out to be the moment, Llorente, on Wednesday night, is going to be sent on. Shrewd move.
Yeah, it is. What's good to see as well, this is the first time I've seen him in the Premier League for a very long time. He's ready to go on. He's got his pads in, he's got his tie-ups in, he's got his boots done up. He's ready to go, that's it. You're coming on, son. I'm ready, Gaffer. That's it, that's perfect.
You're far too old school. Far too old school.
Old school. Yeah. Right school.
16 to 35, so never ready. Offside flag up against Tottenham, so Manchester City have a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. Llorente is now coming towards the side of the pitch, and he's going to take the place of Alderweireld. Well, you called it, Dion, that they would have to change to a back four at some stage, and it's now with 13 minutes to play.
Yeah, this is a decision that he had to make at some stage.
Popular move for the home supporters, the man who scored via a little touch off his elbow on Wednesday night.
Not getting involved in that conversation. Hip, elbow, hip.
Fernando Llorente.
Oh yes. Now the problem now that Spurs have is Sane and Bernardo Silva are going to be one-on-one every time they get the ball, because the two centre-halves, Sanchez and Vertonghen, cannot move.
And with Tottenham, Son pushed up alongside Llorente, Moura playing just behind them. Here is Foyt on the right-hand side. Nice footwork from Foyt. Played the entire match up until now as right wing back. Now operating as the right back. Here's Davis down the left-hand side. Davis for Tottenham. Walker with a touch on that. Challenge came in, blocked away from Davis. Back to Danny Rose. Rose tried to find the pass. Manchester City might be able to break here with Bernardo Silva, who just holds off Danny Rose as he arrives. That goes in with a challenge. Took the ball.
Fair challenge.
But took the man as well. Bernardo Silva is left in a heap on the ground on the far side.
Yeah, that's a fair challenge. I think Bernardo Silva on the halfway line, bang opposite the dugout, right on the far side, just wanting to stop and come back and play with his teammates in the middle of the pitch. And Danny Rose is he's ready for it. He reads it, takes the ball, takes the player.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope, nothing wrong. He just took a little buffeting, Danny Rose, from Bernardo Silva, and matched him with an excellent challenge. And it was only a throw-in. Ball back to Ederson. We've got just over 10 minutes to play. Manchester City passing the ball out from the back.
That's unbelievable.
You almost hear gasps from the home supporters. Don't do that now. Gundogan does well to keep it, but he's giving it away to Rose. Now Llorente to the left-hand side. Here's the cross from the left. Aiming for Son. Headed away by Stones. Eriksson with a shot. That's blocked by Stones. Moura with a chance, and he's driven it high and into the top tier, the middle tier of the stand. To our right.
Yeah, prime example of that is Spurs deciding to go with, everybody. When one goes, I think Wanyama went, and then Eriksson went, and then Moura went, and they squeeze. They force City into a mistake. They've only done it one or two times in the game, but they've got the ball back on every opportunity.
We're into the last 10 minutes. This could be a gripping 10 minutes for the supporters of these two teams and the other teams involved in the top six. Liverpool's supporters willing Tottenham to come up with something. Mauricio Pochettino now, he's there. Dion, look.
Oh, there he is.
He's there now.
Is that him?
That's him.
In the tracksuit.
Hands in his pockets on the edge of the coaching area. And Pep Guardiola in discussions with Mikel Arteta as Bernardo Silva puts in a challenge on Danny Rose on the far side. And Rose with the initial challenge, and it's out of play for
running back on that, isn't it? We were watching the replay there of was it Danny Rose
and Bernardo
Silva having a bit of a wrestling match.
It is only another throw, but that's certainly one to watch. 1-0 Manchester City lead. Phil Foden's goal. City have led since the 5th minute of this match.
Yeah, the ball might be on the right wing for City, but the danger is on the left wing where Sane's left one-on-one with Foyt. Big gap between Sanchez and Foyt. That's where City will have midfield players going into that big, massive gap. Foyt's not sure, what do I do? Stay with Sane? Do I go close to Sanchez?
Mark those words of Dion Dublin, 5 Live listeners, because surely at some point in the remainder, Sane will have his chance. Here's Sterling into the penalty area on the right, but the whistle's already gone. And Sterling ends up shoving Gazzaniga, who's absolutely towering over him, pointing of fingers, and then actually Davinson Sanchez pulls Sterling away.
Yeah, he's done well.
Michael Oliver will speak to them, needless to say, after that, just to calm things down as much as else.
They so done. They both wanted to get on with the game. Nothing really.
Tense moments. Still, Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta are speaking to one another. They've still got one substitution to make, I think, City, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they do or whether they keep it as is, because they look pretty comfortable. It's just limiting Spurs to those chances, because the chances they've had, Spurs, have been really good.
Llorente heading it on, but across comes Laporte to clear it into Tottenham territory. And the ball bouncing out of play off Sanchez. Cheers from the home supporters. They are going to make this change now, so they've decided. I mean, the discussion that went on there between Guardiola and Arteta, and then Guardiola on the touchline calls Foden across, talks into his ear. There's a clear instruction there.
David Silva's just put his shirt on, so it's probably David Silva.
Sterling is challenged by Sanchez. Sterling goes down, no free kick. Manchester City, Gundogan plays it across. Bernardo Silva will allow the ball to roll. You're right, David Silva's the one who's coming on. City with Bernardo Silva to the edge of the area. He took a strong challenge there from Wanyama. Bernardo Silva, but little man so strong, kept his feet, kept the ball as well, and then Fernandinho swings it across. Sterling to play it on the left-hand side, but Foyt put in the challenge on Sterling, and the ball bounced in his favour, and the Tottenham defender. And then Eriksen's back there as well in his own right-back position, turns under pressure from Foden, puts it out of play. Will we see the change now for City? By the way, in case you haven't heard, in the first half, De Bruyne went off injured, so that a clear setback for Manchester City. He was crestfallen, the Belgian, belted the ball off the field when he knew that he had to go off. And it is Foden who will make way for David Silva. And in the modern style, the 18-year-old shakes hands with the referee first and then applauds the supporters. And here's the ovation for this young man, born in Stockport, Manchester City fan, who has more than held his own in this game today, and indeed might have scored the only goal.
Yeah, we're just watching the replay there. Bernardo Silva, far post Aguero, heads it back for Foden. See the celebration there. The young man's done exceptional today. Very brave performance, given his chance today, and he stood out for me as well. And what the beauty of City is, Pep Guardiola looks over his shoulder, sees David Silva sat there, just puts his shirt on and just strolls onto the pitch.
Yeah, what I've seen of him, I've seen quite a number of his appearances this season in the various competitions. I think he offers City something slightly different, Foden.
Yeah, he does. He tries things maybe other players wouldn't try, but yeah, he's got a great future in the game. He's only a baby.
1-0 Manchester City lead, and we've now got less than 5 minutes of the 90 to play. With the scoreline as it is, Manchester City would be returning. They'd be going above Liverpool again to the top of the table by 1 point. And Tottenham, as Fernandinho, Wanyama arrives at pace, and I think that's going to be the first yellow card of the game. He took out Fernandinho, and cheers from the home supporters for that yellow card.
Yeah, just got Wanyama just got done there with a bit of fast thinking from Fernandinho. He went left, he went right, and he just did it with a little bit of a shimmy. Quite a dangerous one, that, quite high. Deserved the yellow.
Yeah, free kick. City left of the centre circle. And many teams in this position would manage the game. A 1-0 lead. City, not really seen that, as Fernandinho hits this free kick and he overhit it way beyond Bernardo Silva and through for a goal kick.
Yeah, collector's item that one. He just tried to play it from centre circle, right of centre, over to Bernardo Silva, gets it all wrong, goes out for a goal. But yeah, there's probably also one bad pass all season for Fernandinho. Absolutely outstanding this year.
Spurs could find themselves out of the top 4 over the course of the next couple of days, depending on what Arsenal and Manchester United and Chelsea do. We've got commentary on Chelsea-Burnley on 5 Live on Monday night. And here is Fernandinho heading the ball into the Tottenham half. Sanchez takes it down, gives it to Foyt. Eriksen. Tottenham trying to craft something. There's a block on Eriksen, and it's a free kick for Tottenham near the halfway line.
He's actually done well today. I've been saying that Foyt's got to be careful with Sane, and Foyt's got to be careful with Sterling. He's actually done well, the young man. He's stood up to the challenge, concentrated well, stood up when he needs to, gone to ground when he needs to.
3 minutes to play. Free kick to Tottenham. Eriksen drives it long towards the edge of the area. Clever from Walker, just put in a little nudge on Vertonghen as he was leaping for the ball, and it bounced through between them and out of play for a throw into Manchester City. in the right back area.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off your team. That great play from Carl Walker. He was always going to get beaten in the air from the Tongan. He sort of nudged him underneath the ball, gets a throw in, and calms everything down.
Yeah, calms everything down, but the tension is still hanging in the air as the sun shines down on the Etihad Stadium. Walker, the ball bounces back to him. He's hoping it's going to bounce out of play. As I say, some of these players who are involved on Wednesday night, many of them have to be feeling it. And in these sort of circumstances, entirely possible that there might be a mistake.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. It's the mental stamina rather than the physical stamina. Just stay in the game. Don't let your mind wander. You've got a big game to hold on to, big points to hold on to as well.
The television cameras have just picked out a woman in the stand. Manchester City fan who can't watch this. She's got a hand over her face, and it's a completely different experience. It could not be more different to how the match finished on Wednesday night to this. Absolutely racked with tension. The World Snooker started today. It's like the Crucible Theatre here. Here's Eriksson now to the right-hand side. Foyt back in field to Rose. Rose is going to have a run directly and shoots left-footed, but gets it all wrong. Cheers of relief from the Manchester City fans. It bobbles and bounces well wide of goal and behind for a City goal kick.
He did right. It all opened up nicely for him. He was shown onto his left foot. He's only 20 yards out, 22 yards out. I'm thinking, go on, have a shot. Got it all wrong, unfortunately.
Thinking of that famous goal that he scored against Arsenal all those many years ago. It was his first Premier League start for Tottenham. City leading by 1-0. We are in the 90th minute. Manchester derby on Wednesday. 5 Live, the place to hear it. And City want to go into that with the full 3 points from this game. Tottenham in the green, the two-tone green. Davis playing it into the centre circle, but away from Eriksson and Sané now. Sané might get that chance to run at the Tottenham defence. He's up against Sanchez, who takes him wide. Sanchez did well, and then Rose in with a challenge. Sanchez, though, Eriksson too, he's challenged by David Silva. Tottenham come out with the ball. Lucas Moura, I think he's going to be fouled by Bernardo Silva. He is. 3 City players converged on Lucas Moura. I think it was Bernardo Silva who committed the foul. Free kick. The Spurs want to take it quickly, but Raheem Sterling standing in front of the ball, and Tottenham players, Wanyama just moving Sterling away. So the 4th official now who's coming forward with the board. Chris Kavanagh shows us 4 minutes of added time, 4 more minutes of Manchester City tension. Gazzaniga is going to take the free kick in the centre circle. Lots of instructions from Arteta and Guardiola. Both of them look like they're playing imaginary accordions. Here is Vertonghen. Vertonghen lifts the ball high and forward, headed away by Zinchenko. Wanyama gets ahead to it, headed forward by Lucas Moura. It bounces out to the right-hand side. That's okay for City. Walker, there's no pressure on him. He plays it to Bernardo Silva, who strokes the ball beautifully down the right-hand side. Sterling moves across the covering challenge of Sanchez. There was contact. Sterling went down. Free kick, Manchester City.
Not sure. Bernardo Silva just rolls it into the corner. Maybe there was a tangle of legs as well as a nudge as well from Sanchez. Sterling does well. Pressure off City.
There's not a lot of difference on that compared to the challenge in the penalty area when City felt they should have had a penalty.
Yeah, agreed. Clever play. This is why Sterling's got better. All his end games got better. His finishing's got better. His decisions, whether to go down or to stay on his feet, have got better.
Manchester City take the free kick on the far side. We've had 90 seconds of the 4 minutes of added time. Manchester City still leading by 1-0 and going back above Liverpool to the top of the table as the ball is deflected out of play for a throw. There's a bit of a tangle going on between Vertonghen and Sterling on the far side. And Vertonghen gets to his feet and then leans into Sterling, and the two of them move towards the advertising hoardings over there. One or two other players now come across and just sort of move them apart. There was nothing particularly nasty looking about it.
Not quite sure why they've got fired up there. Sometimes when the ball's gone and you might fall over and you might, lean on somebody, catch somebody with a knee or an elbow, and it's unintentional, but...
Yellow card for Sterling.
Sometimes it can be a little bit infuriating. You think, the opponent's done it on purpose. Sterling's been fired up all game.
He has.
All game.
I think Michael Oliver has read that as Sterling, and also a yellow card for Vertonghen for his part in that as well. I think Sterling was impeding him.
Yeah.
Wanted to stop Vertonghen getting on with the game. You know what I was saying about managing the game in this situation, and Vertonghen is booked for his response to that. And now the throw-in is taken, deflected out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham, 50 inside their own half. Almost 3 minutes have been played of the 4 minutes of added time. Tottenham looking to hit this downfield, which they do. Vertonghen, it's headed on by Llorente. Son inside the area, bounced up, couldn't get it down, hooked it away, and City should clear it from the far side, which they do from Bernardo Silva. Ball forward to Sterling. Sterling suggesting he was pulled back by Vertonghen on the halfway line, who's just been booked, and Michael Oliver ignores that. Forward from Gazzaniga through the middle. Fernandinho has it infield. Bernardo Silva gets there at the same time as Moura. Then it's a 50-50. Gundogan and Davis. There's a touch there off Gundogan, out of play for a throw-in. It's only a throw-in for Tottenham. This could be the last attack of the match. I make it less than 30 seconds to play. Tottenham staring at yet another defeat away from home here, incidentally. Forward and long from Vertonghen. Headed across by Foyt. Ball inside the City penalty area. Anxious moments here. It's cleared away out towards the right-hand side, but Tottenham have got it again. Wanyama with a cross. Cleared away, swept away, volleyed away by Bernardo Silva into the centre circle. Vertonghen high above Sterling. Headed forward by Sané. And then Vertonghen, under pressure, can only head the ball towards the right-hand side. Sané has gone down. Ball kept in by Wanyama. Sané still down, and then it's just belted away downfield by Fernandinho, and referee Oliver just has a little look at Leroy Sané and decides there's nothing much wrong with him.
That's it.
And indeed, that is it. He's blown the whistle. Today, totally different feeling and totally different in terms of the atmosphere on